Welcome back, everyone. The language we speak and write consists of words. In the last video, we classified these words into 8 types: nouns, verbs, adjectives, and so on. Today, we'll talk about nouns. Nouns can be divided into different types as well. We have common nouns and proper nouns, abstract, concrete, countable, uncountable, singular, plural, masculine, feminine. The question is, do we have the same categories in different languages? Do nouns give the same meanings across languages? First, let's have a look at nouns in terms of abstraction and concreteness. We may talk about ideas or things. Concrete nouns are things that exist in the real world. Things you can see, you can hear, smell, taste, or touch. Words like boy, girl, cat, dog, chair. Abstract nouns refer to ideas or concepts. They have no physical reference. The meanings of abstract nouns may differ across time, place, and person. Words like love, success, freedom, good and bad. Later we can talk about how abstract meanings can change from one generation to another. Now let's talk about how they differ from one situation to another. Take freedom as an example. The word could be familiar to everyone, but when someone says, "I want freedom," this could refer to self-employment if he's annoyed at work. Vacation, when he gets exhausted in his workplace. Divorce, for unhappy marriages. Clearance of debts, for anyone overwhelmed by debts. And actually, one can think of many more meanings in different situations. Both types draw the overall picture of the entire life, but we have to pay attention in translation to how imprecise their meanings are, how easily they can be understood in different ways. Approaching the text this way may let us know from the very beginning how difficult or easy the text is. The text that contains more abstract words could be more difficult in translation. The more abstract the text is, the more unclear. The more concrete the text, the more clear and vivid. Even the ways we look at concrete nouns differ from one language to another based on one's perception and cultural differences. For example, my cup of tea is black without sugar. Yours could be with milk and sugar. Proper nouns. Proper nouns are names of people, places, institutions, like companies, schools, and so on. Proper nouns, and specifically names of people, are very important to consider when translating. They may cause embarrassment if transferred into other languages that contain the same word with negative meanings. Before we talk about how to translate proper nouns, let's have a look at the implications of transferring one's name into other languages. Actually, we should bear in mind that when a word moves to another land, it could wear a different hat. Have you ever been to another country and noticed the checkout officer open your passport with an amused smile on his face? Did you know that the way your name is written in your passport could be similar to a positive or negative word in other languages? Names like Saad could go unnoticed, but when combined with another name, the surname Ma'an, Saad Ma'an, sad man, the full name could be associated with the English phrase for unhappy man. Did you know that Noha with O in Hungarian means although? What's wrong if we use Noha with you? Maha in the Estonian language means down. Why can't we simply put it that way, Maha with E? The Danish for haja is sharks, which is very similar to the Swedish word haja with a. Basically, the letter J in Danish and Swedish is pronounced as Y sound, but your passport doesn't speak. Few years ago, one of the Arab countries refused to appoint a foreign ambassador from Pakistan because of his name that is very offensive in Arabic. Now, if we go for transliteration, we should do our best to avoid negatively transliterated names in the target language. For example, localized brand names which are transliterated may kill the product in the target market. Che is a French soft drink flavored with lemon or orange. But the way it is pronounced in English won't make sales in English-speaking countries, because in English we drop the initial P sound, if followed by S, like in psychology, while in French they drop the final consonant. So the English pronunciation of this product is actually obscene. Imagine you go to a restaurant called My Dung. Even if you are starving, I don't think you can come close to the entrance. One can find similar mistakes in the Arab world. For example, look at how a fishmonger called his business Arab Shat Fresh Fish, Shat al Arab, Arab Shat. Now look at this more embarrassing name of a perfume shop, Anas Lilatur. Look at how the word Anas is written. It's awful. So, we are going to know how to transfer proper nouns and avoid any kind of misunderstanding or embarrassment. We have three approaches. 1. Translation. 2. Transliteration. 3. Transliteration plus an additional description. How to translate proper nouns, Part 2. Today we'll learn more strategies for transliteration. To transfer an Arabic name, you can simply either use phonetic transcription, that's the international phonetic symbols. For example, the first sound of Khalid, a famous Arabic name, is phonetically transcribed as X, but this is not common among translators. Or you can transliterate using the alphabet of the target language. Here Khalid could be written with KH. Basically, this is the most frequently used procedure in all languages. But we may find an English sound that doesn't exist in Arabic, like pa in park and pack. On the other hand, there are many Arabic letters that have no equivalents in other languages. For example, it could be easy to use the voiced ba sound all the time when translating Arabic names into English. But this unfortunate translator didn't follow the rule and offered hilarious translation. Even an Arabic consonant which could be seen equivalent to an English one might be pronounced differently in some words borrowed from different languages into English. For example, in the picture of this clinic, if we transliterated the Z letter in the Arabic name Nazi, like in zone and zoo, we'll be in troubles because the clinic will be designated for fascist Nazi people only. The same pronunciation applies to the letter Z in words borrowed from Italian like pizza and mozzarella. Now we can move to vowels. All in all, it's easy to transfer consonants, but vowels are very hard to transfer, simply because in Arabic we have a shorter list of vowels. For example, Faris, an Arabic name, is with I or E. Faris is a name note the prices charged in transportation. Salim and Salim. There are a number of cities in USA called Salem, like in Oregon State and Virginia. The vowel in the Arabic name Hind is often pronounced I before ND, like in find, kind, mind, blind, but wind is an exception. Even in English dictionaries, the word hind as a noun means the female of the red deer, a British farm assistant. This is chiefly British. As an adjective, it means behind or rear, like the dog's hind legs. Why don't we use hand with E sound? Two Arabic famous words that precede names of people in classical Arabic and in some Arab countries today: Ibn and Bint. Unfortunately, for the first, many translators use bin in the lowercase, as in dustbin. If used in the lowercase in the middle of one's name, it could mean X put Y into a bin. This is hilarious as well. This can be cautiously rendered as Ibn, or we can use the closest equivalent in English, the word Ben, that precedes many famous names in English, such as Benjamin. The transliteration of Bint is worse because it's offensive, derogatory in English. It's originally an Arabic word brought to the English language during the colonial age by the English soldiers coming back from the Middle East. They may have associated the word with meanings they experienced there. We talked about different strategies for transferring proper nouns into another language. The first strategy is transliteration. Transliteration is to borrow any word from the target language using the alphabet of the source language, like Clinton, Ronaldo from English, or Salim, Noha from Arabic, and so on. You can transfer any word that way. You only need to know first how the sound, consonant, or vowel is pronounced in the target language. And you should find out whether the transliterated word has a negative meaning in the target language or not. So we can follow two steps. Step 1 is to check the utterance. We need to know how the sounds are uttered in both languages in different positions in the word. For example, when the letter S appears between two vowels, it's usually pronounced za sound, like cousin, reason, present. Of course, there is a long list of exceptions like emphasis, closer, and fantasy. But words like basil in Arabic, it's pronounced basil in English, which is a fragrant herb. The English tend to pronounce Hassan, for example, as Hazan. One solution here is to add another sa sound, S sound, because it's more common to pronounce double S as sa sound, unlike the single S that could be pronounced as za in the majority of cases. Step 2. We can check whether the transliterated name has a negative meaning in the target language or not. You can simply use Google Translator and let the program detect to what language your transliterated name belongs. This is really helpful. Now we can move to another strategy for translating proper nouns. Here we can do translation. Everyone knows that we can't translate names of people or place names. This is correct, but some Arabic names may be connected to English ones These names are all related to religious names that are shared among heavenly religions, like names of prophets, messengers, angels, names like Nuh, Noah, Abraham, Ibrahim, Jacob, Yaqub, John, Yahya, Joseph, Yusuf, Gabriel, Jibril. You can add tens of names to the list, like Abel and Cain, Habil, Qabil, and many others. One can also find some historical and scholarly figures spelled differently in English and Arabic. Names like Salahuddin, Saladin, Al-Iskandar, Alexander, Caesar, Caesar, Heraclius, Herakl. Scholarly figures like Avicenna, Ibn Sina, Averroes, Ibn Rushd, or famous political figures like Nasser and Sadat. This approach tends to domestication and to bridge the gap between the two cultures. Another possibility is to include additional information. This is the final strategy. Here we can describe the proper noun, especially names of people and things. Not translating or describing the proper noun increases the risk of misunderstanding. The target reader may not be familiar with the proper nouns. Therefore, adding an extra piece of information about the nature of the exotic word may make the point clear. Look at the following examples. Many proper nouns here are culture specific. They may refer to a known area in the world, names of tribes, ethnic groups, and cultural bound calendar items. Here, translators would better insert an extra piece of information before or after the proper noun for explanation. But if we are translating to someone who is aware of these terms, even if he doesn't speak the same language, it's better not to. How to add extra information? We can simply mention to what category the proper noun belongs. Is it a mountain, a city, a tribe, a period of time, and so on? Here, the original example doesn't contain a city in case A. In sentence 2, we have the word Arafat separately. So we added mount before the word. In sentence 3, we added a phrase before Thamud, the tribe of Thamud. And finally, in sentence 4, we added to Ramadan, month of Ramadan, to make it clearer to the target audience. All translators of the Quran, when translating the most frequently recited verse that contains the founding principle of Islam as a religion, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ, they use the pronoun he as the subject or theme, and the divine name Allah as a predicate, or to put it in Arabic grammatical terms, مبتدأ وخبر. Say he is God, the one. Say he is one God. This doesn't reflect the original meaning in Arabic. Some Arab grammarians argue that the pronoun he is the subject or theme, and the divine name Allah is a second subject or theme, or to put it in Arabic grammatical terms, مبتدأ أول مبتدأ ثاني. Others say the pronoun is ضمير الشأن, a pronoun that denotes a general state of affairs. In this video, we'll talk about how to translate pronouns that may give different shades of meaning in either Arabic or English. In the last video, we said we can divide any object into categories and subcategories to organize information like we do in sciences. So we first need to break the text down into paragraphs, paragraphs into sentences, sentences into words. Once we know how to translate each part, we can piece them together in a text. If we could make each component remarkable, then the totality should be remarkable too. Without knowing these components, one may not be able to understand different combinations of words, sentences, paragraphs. We talked earlier about how to translate the first part of speech, the noun. Today, we'll move to another part of speech that can function as a noun. In English and Arabic, pronouns can have the same position and function of nouns or noun phrases. They can be used to avoid lexical repetition of a word, phrase, or a sentence. In English, pronouns can be divided into 8 categories. Personal pronouns like I, you, we, possessive pronouns, my, mine, demonstrative pronouns like this, that, interrogative pronouns like who, which, reflexive pronouns, pronouns ending with self, themselves, himself, indefinite pronouns, compound words consisting of any plus one or body, anybody, nobody, anything, something, relative pronouns, who, whom. Other types of pronouns can also be added to the above list, like reciprocal pronouns, which are words expressing two-way relationship like each other, one another, resumptive pronouns, shadow pronouns that refer to the noun or the noun phrase, as in John, I like him. The translation of the above types of pronouns into Arabic is a straightforward process. So, we will rather focus on some aspects of pronouns that are not equivalent in either language. Before we move on, we should bear in mind that the position of the pronoun after or before the noun it modifies differs from one language to another. In Arabic, for instance, we cannot start a sentence with a pronoun that precedes the noun it refers to, like in English. However, the fronting of referential pronouns is commonly used today in Arabic, copying the English style. For example, during his visit to the university, the ambassador said, أثناء زيارته وأثناء زيارته للجامعة قال السفير. This can be rephrased to conform to the classical Arabic style. قال السفير أثناء زيارته للجامعة, by fronting the verb and the subject to the beginning of the sentence. And then we can put the pronoun that refers to the subject later. So, this should be an antecedent to the pronoun in classical Arabic. If the pronoun doesn't refer to any element in the sentence, this is called a dummy pronoun in English. This is extensively used in English, but we may also find similar cases in Arabic. Another difference between English and Arabic regarding pronouns are related to gender. Masculine and feminine pronouns can be aligned in both languages, but in English we have a pronoun for neuter, the pronoun it, unlike the Arabic language where masculine and feminine pronouns can be used for neuter or non-human objects. When the pronoun it functions as a dummy pronoun, it doesn't refer to any element in the sentence. Sometimes we can translate the dummy pronoun with an equivalent pronoun in Arabic that doesn't refer to any part in the sentence. It's called in Arabic a pronoun that denotes a general state of affairs, or ضمير الشأن. Or we can find a similar grammatical function to give the same meaning. For example, it's obvious that he has made a mistake. We can here drop the pronoun and start the sentence with a verb derived from a content word that follows the pronoun. So we can say يتضح لنا أنه قد أخطأ. So we change the adjective obvious into a verb and we drop the pronoun. We can also use a phrase introduced by the preposition من in Arabic followed by an adjective. من الواضح أنه أخطأ. Another example. It's believed that knowledge has the power to change our lives. يعتقد الناس يرى الناس أن المعرفة لها القدرة على تغيير حياتنا. Or we can start the sentence with the preposition من and change the word into an adjective. من المسلم به من المسلم به أن المعرفة لها القدرة على تغيير حياتنا. Let's have another example. It's well known that happiness comes from within. يعلم الجميع يدرك الجميع أن السعادة تأتي من داخلنا. Or we can say من المعلوم من المعروف أن السعادة تأتي من داخلنا. Now look at the following simple example introduced by a dummy pronoun. It's raining. You can find that simple sentence, short sentence, translated as إنها تمطر or السماء تمطر. Some call the pronoun it here as the weather it. Therefore, we can use the same word when translating into Arabic as follows. It's cold today. Here, the pronoun it, it's called the weather it. So we can translate it into Arabic. الجو بارد اليوم. One more function of the pronoun it that doesn't take the same form in Arabic. The it cleft or cleft structure, where the pronoun it doesn't function as a subject. For example, it's John who wrote the book. We can say إن جون كتب الكتاب or إن جون من كتب الكتاب. The main function of the pronoun it here in the English sentence is emphasis or exclusive reference that can be rendered into Arabic using the particle in, as shown above. Now we can move to the implications of what we have just mentioned on the meaning of pronouns in each language. First of all, fronting a pronoun can be used in Arabic for a rhetorical purpose. For example, إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. According to the Arabic grammar, you can say نعبدك, worship you. But a pronoun referring to God has preceded the verb to exclude any other one from the act of worshipping. So we have you alone do we worship. Here the word alone is added to give a similar rhetorical function. But we can find some verses where the pronoun shares the same function of the following noun, like in Allah's words قل هو الله أحد. Here we have two subjects, the pronoun and the divine name. Some Arab grammarians say the pronoun is مبتدأ أول, subject 1, and the divine name is مبتدأ ثاني, subject 2, or theme 2, theme 1 and theme 2. Others argue that the pronoun here functions as ضمير الشأن, a dummy pronoun. There is no reference to the pronoun in the sentence. This style is used in Arabic for making prominence, emphasis, and exclusive focus. To give the same function in English, we can use a cleft structure introduced by the pronoun it. So we can say قل هو الله أحد, say it's He, God alone. Or say it's Allah who is one alone. If we translate it as say He is one God or say He is God alone, we won't reflect the structural meaning of the verse. Some interpreters of the Quran say the verse responds to those who asked the Prophet to describe God, not to ask about who is He. So God here is the subject or the theme, al-mubtada. The pronoun gives a rhetorical function like prominence, emphasis, and exclusive reference. The same applies to the following verse that starts with another similar pronoun. هو الخالق البارئ المصور. Some commentaries of the Quran, some interpretation of the Quran say the pronoun he is ضمير الشأن, a dummy pronoun. The same function can be noticed here as well. The pronoun is not a theme or mubtada, because in the previous verse we have the same phrase, the same structure. Now we can compare the following translation of verse number 24 in Surah Al-Hashr, and which one is close to the grammatical function in Arabic. In Sahih International we have He is Allah, the creator, the inventor, the fashioner. The Clear Quran, He is Allah, the creator, the inventor, the shaper. Abdul Halim, He is God, the creator, the originator, the shaper. Farid Haq, it's Allah only who is the creator, the initiator, the designer of all. You can notice that the final translation used a cleft structure for the same purpose of prominence and exclusive reference. We have discussed how to translate the main components of the first part of speech, the noun or noun phrase. We talked about how to translate the types of nouns, definite and indefinite articles, and pronouns that could replace nouns or noun phrases. Another component that is related to the noun is the adjective. The main function of adjectives is to modify and describe nouns or noun phrases. In English, they are often placed before nouns, except for a number of phrases in legal and political texts where adjectives follow nouns. English adjectives are of two types: lexicalized, like big, happy, or inflected, like useful, dangerous. Adjectives of the first type can be found independently in any textual material or a dictionary. The other type is based on other words. It can be formed from basic nouns or verbs. We only need to add an appropriate ending to make an adjective. As in this table, those endings can be obvious indicators of the adjective. Sometimes we may have one word that can have different endings that denote an adjective and may go unnoticed in translation, like the word continuous, continual, informative, informational, selective, selectional. To translate the first pairs of words into Arabic, one may interchangeably use many synonyms as equivalents of both English words, like مستمر, متواصل, متلاحق, متعاقب, دائم. However, some sources highlight subtle differences between the two English words. While similar, these two words imply very different meanings. Continuous implies an ending period of time or action without interruption, while continual doesn't have to mean uninterrupted. only repeated. This difference can be rendered in Arabic. We can have, for instance, مستمر, متواصل for continuous, and for continual متكرر, مستمر الحدوث ولكن بين الفينة والأخرى. Adjectives ending in al describe the nature of something and could be paraphrased as relating to, while those ending in ive mean inclining to or capable of doing. Both the word pair, informational and informative, refer to information, like in this phrase informational magazine, مجلة معلوماتية أو مجلة إعلامية. Informative magazine, مجلة ثرية بالمعلومات أو مفيدة. Selective debate, مناظرة منتقاة أو انتقائية. Selectional debate, مناظرة للانتقاء. The first adjective means relating to information, and the second refers to the ability of giving information. As to the word pair, selective, selectional, the first means having the ability of selection, انتقائي, while the second pertains or is related to selection. Adjectives in Arabic or English may be translated into different parts of speech, as mentioned in our videos on class shift or transposition. For example, press conference, we translate it to مؤتمر صحفي, not as مؤتمر صحافة. Sometimes class shift, that's to change any part of a speech into another part, such as noun to verb, adjective to noun, etc., is inescapable to adapt a word to the syntactic system of the target language. For example, the program was a success. Here we have to change the noun into an adjective in Arabic. كان البرنامج ناجحا, not نجاحا. خط إنتاجي, production line, not productive line. Another solution for non-equivalent adjectives could be to paraphrase the meaning of the adjective by using a hyphenated compound that can function as an adjective, as in the following examples. الوظائف الخدمية, service related jobs. الخدمات العمالية, labor related services. The prepositional phrase can also be a useful solution when an Arabic adjective doesn't fit the syntactic system of the target language. For instance, the Arabic adjective الرياضي that is related to sports could be translated into sporting, sporty, or athletic. If this word modifies a noun like التعصب الرياضي, one may tend to change the adjective into a prepositional phrase, like intolerance in sports. And for هل أنت متألم, are you in pain? متألم is an adjective, in pain a prepositional phrase. And for ترتيب رقبي عددي, sequence by number. Another common feature of adjectives that could be overlooked in translation is the collective adjectives that are followed by plural verb forms. For example, the poor tend to live in the city, whilst the rich move to the suburbs. يميل الفقراء للسكنة في المدينة بينما ينتقل الأغنياء إلى ضواحيها. In the above example, the words the poor and the rich are adjectives that function as nouns. They follow the definite article and are treated as plural nouns. We can find a list of adjectives which are commonly used collectively in grammar books like the blind, العميان, the innocent, الأبرياء. So we don't say the blind, الأعمى, or the innocent, البريء, the sick, المرضى, the strong, الأقوياء, the weak, الضعفاء. And also there are a number of collective adjectives that refer to nationality and are treated as plural nouns, like for example the Japanese, اليابانيون, the French, الفرنسيون. Some types of adjectives may give different meanings in different positions, attributive or predicative, such as well for healthy and ill for unhealthy if they are used predicatively, that's after the noun. However, they give different meanings when they are used attributively, that's before the noun. For example, he was ill yesterday, كان مريضا أمس. He was well yesterday, كان بصحة جيدة أمس. But attributively, they have different meanings. It's a well-prepared essay. مقالة معدة إعدادا جيدا. ill behavior, سلوك خاطئ. If we have more than one adjective in English, we should follow a certain pattern. People tend to say a new red ball, not a red new ball. We also hear about a tasty red apple, not the other way around. Why does the color red in a red sports car doesn't come close to the noun, unlike the above examples? Some linguists argue that adjectives that express inherent features have to come close to the noun. Others say it's because of the subjectivity or objectivity of adjectives. Adjectives that are more objective occur next to the nouns. In other words, the adjective that's more characteristic of the noun is placed immediately before the noun. Adjectives that express an opinion, for instance, are subjective and may vary from one person to another. Basically, the sequence of adjectives in English is described in grammar books. We start with adjectives of opinion: size, age, shape, color, nationality, material, type. We can realize how important order of adjectives is in translating the following two sentences. I bought a Swiss golden watch. I bought a golden Swiss watch. The Arabic for golden can denote a material or color in modern classical Arabic. اشتريت ساعة ذهبية سويسرية. Here ذهبية is for color. The position of golden after Swiss in English denotes an adjective of material, but the word ذهبية in Arabic can denote a material or color. This ambiguity can be worked out if we follow the classical Arabic style in adjective formation. اشتريت ساعة من ذهب سويسرية. This can be found in today's Arabic commercials, as in this picture, where three adjectives modify the word ساعات, watches. The word ذهب, golden, نسائية, women, and فخمة, top shelf or high-end or upscale. In Arabic, we may overlook that order of adjectives without any loss of meaning. Other languages have a different order of adjectives. For instance, in French, the adjective of size precedes the noun, and the adjective of color follows the head, the noun. Petit chat noir, not petit noir chat. Thank you for watching, and see you later.